Afternoon. Any questions? No? Thanks.
Some of the criticism of some of these deals is because you've given away so many traded #1 draft choices. Is that
Well, I don't think we've given anything away. I think the players that we've acquired are terrific assets for the team. We got the conference finals last year with the deal that we made. I can't predict where we're going to end up this year, but I certainly think that this guy's a great player and he's going to help us a lot. And it's just not a one-year deal.
But do you think that #1s are not as valuable maybe as they used to be, or that's the market?
Well, it's the market. I always think they're valuable, but I think you have to give to get. And in this case, you know, I've been shopping for this guy for quite a while. I know he's the kind of player that I like. He plays the style that our team plays. He's young. The financial arrangement we have with Arizona makes it a perfect fit for us. Going forward, you know, it's not going to be impossible to keep him in the lineup at some point in time. Giving up the assets that we had to make the deal work, that was just part of the deal. And we were in a tough spot with our cap, so I had to find a way to make this work if we were going to go forward.
Let's also speak to
Was it tougher giving up Duke than maybe the first round pick?
Well, I think that if Kevin Hayes hadn't come around, it would have been very difficult, but you know, Kevin is like having another first pick, and we've got some players in our organization that we think are going to do the same job next year. So it was, you know, it's a calculated risk at any time doing something like this, but I think it's well worth it.
Where are you with Buchnevich and maybe bringing him over at this point?
Well, he's going to be available.
For the end of the season?
Well, we'll see.
Does it also speak to the confidence you have in your scouting staff lower down in the draft, getting quality players? I mean, Duclair was a third rounder, and you're able to flip him for a talent like this.
Yeah, I think we've got a great scouting staff. They work hard. Gordy Clark and Jeff Gordon and all the rest of the guys that are here. I mean, we spent the last few days together mulling this over and talking about it and seeing if it was the right deal for the organization. In the end, we decided that it was. We're pretty happy about it.
Glenn, how much faith do you have in this group to go all the way for you this year, win a cup for you?
Well, you want me to give you a prediction? Anybody got a crystal ball around? I mean, predicting is a real complicated thing to try and get into. And, you know, if we stay healthy, if we have enough depth, if everyone performs, we get the good goaltending that we think we're going to have, I mean, you can go all the way. But a lot of things have to happen, and there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be thinking the same thing that I'm thinking here today. Everybody made deals. We all are optimistic about where we're going to end up.
How long does this deal take to consume as far as you and Donnie talking and the pieces all fit in place?
Well, I've talked to Donnie for the last couple of years about Yandel, and he was never anxious to do anything. When he was here, we spoke a little bit about it. I spoke about it when we were in Phoenix. When we got down closer to the last few days, then I laid the proposal in front of him, and he called me back right away. He was pretty interested in it.
Have you nailed down the last parts of the Zuccarello deal?
Which parts?
Whatever parts.
We don't have anything to nail down.
Is it
Is
done?
it done?
We shook on hands yesterday. Now, whether or not it's been written in solid ink or blood, that hasn't happened yet. Well, you never know sometimes when you deal with the agents. They try to get all the blood that you have.
Glenn, when did you decide that maybe you needed more than just a quick fix on depth defense or depth forward, that you needed maybe a bigger acquisition like Yandel?
Well, I think that I've known that all year. You know, we've been platooning a couple of guys. We're happy with them, but I think we needed a little bit more of a real good, solid puck-moving defenseman that's going to be useful in the power play. And when his name became available, that's when I jumped on it.
Was that what you were expecting more from Boyle up to this point?
Well, I think he's been fine. He started off, you know, with some problems with his health and an injury, and it's taken a little bit of time to play the way we think he can play, but I'm pretty sure that these two guys together are going to be very good.
Obviously, you're always trying to make the team better, but How much did that finals run last year whet your appetite, and what did it do in terms of your view of what this team can be?
Well, my appetite's always been pretty anxious to get to the top of the league. It's not easy. It takes a lot of things that have to work right to get there. Yeah, it was nice to get there. I hope we can do that again. But like I said earlier, there's a lot of teams that are going to think the same thing we're thinking.
Glenn, when we look at these moves, do we look at it as we're going for it now?
Yeah, we've been going for it since last year. Absolutely.
You're going for it now, but you would have been prepared to trade Zuccarello if you had to have a sign?
Well, let's say I put out the market that we're going to trade him. Whether or not that would have ever happened was another story.
What is it about him that you like, that you want, why you want to keep him?
Zook?
Yeah.
I like everything about him. His tenacity, his hard work, his seeing the ice, the way he plays, the chemistry he brings in our team, and the way he's in the dressing room. He's been a terrific player for us.
Is there any update on
Pardon me?
Henrik? Is there any update on him?
Well, we continue to evaluate him, and we'll keep you posted in a little while, but that's about all I'm going to say about it today.
What about the acquisition of Shepherd?
Pardon me?
The acquisition of Shepherd, how is he going to fit into the mix?
Well, it depends on the coaches, but he's a big body. He can play center, he can play wing. I watched him last year in the playoffs against LA. I thought he was one of the best players. And it's a fresh life for him. I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
Glenn, is it fair to say, I know you can't tell us specifically on Henrik, but is it fair to say you wouldn't have gone through the deadline without addressing something in net if you weren't confident he was feeling well?
Well, if you look at what we've done in the last 10 or 12 games with the goaltending that we have, I don't think anybody else got a better record at this stage. So I don't think that I was going to give up a lot of assets to get another goaltender. I think that we're fine there. Henrik's going to be fine. We just need a little more time.
Is part of making a deal, or the deals like this, knowing that the window of Lundqvist's prime is starting to close, knowing that there's only a couple years here left for them?
Well, we're all getting older. I mean, I look around this room, and some of you guys have had gray hair, and some of you had hair. So, we can't stop the clock. And, I mean, a hockey team is a business in motion every year. There are things that you have to do. There's injuries that happen. There's, all kinds of things. A moving target constantly in professional teams. So we have to do what we can to do right now to be as successful as we can.
When you were looking at ways that you wanted to make this team better, was it that you thought the defense, or was it the fact that this player kind of came up in the,
Well, I like his style of play. And I knew that they liked Duclair because of the World Championships. Duclair and Domi played together. So it's, I mean, you do a lot of calculated risking when you do any kind of a deal. But this is the kind of player that I wanted, the kind of player we've been watching for a long time. Ulf Samuelsson had him in Phoenix. He knows him very well. He knows his character. I know his background. I know his history. It's not a long shot to get somebody like this. This player doesn't come along very. He's like Nash in a lot of ways. We'll just see how it develops.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I wasn't talking to you about the hair, by the way. I was talking about Mr. Maloney back then.